Hello YouTube and welcome to episodes 2 and 3 in my Zoku Owarimonogatari reaction series. Back here again today for some more Monogatari. Really getting to the pointy end now, which is both exciting and sad for sure. Just housekeeping right here, right now, I'm not 100%. I'm well enough to record, but if I'm a little bit, again, down, I think I got something for work. It's a cough thing. I don't know. Hopefully I don't cough too much, but yeah, we'll see how we go. I guess I'm putting this out here with the proviso that, hey, if the reactions are a bit shit, or if I'm like, hey, fuck you, we're watching one episode, that's why. Even though I really want to do two. But we're going to keep on trucking along, just dive right into YouTube comments, I think. That's probably the best way to get started. First comment here, Gian Bueno. Character arts at the beginning are the official covers of the Japanese release of the novels, and it's kind of the inside of my cover, if that makes any sense. So I've got the English release, colored page inside of each of the books, which is what I was talking about, yeah. But the Hachikuji one, it was actually for the Kabuki Monogatari novel, hence why my image didn't match up. So there's multiple Hachikujis, obviously. Again, last week I just thought it was a cute little meta thing, so I don't know. It was nice. Moving on to how they talk in the mirror world. Kind of, in the novels, right, it's written like this, so you can still kind of read it, as opposed to genuinely just like reversed. So hence why when Karen's talking, there's this weird like kind of reverberant thing to it. You can still understand it. It's still being like read the correct order of words, if that makes any sense. So for example, like take this sentence, right? It wouldn't say novel the in reversing. It would say reversing in the novel, just in this stylization. And the anime decided to adapt this with a bit of a filter over the voice. So yeah. Again, I think it gets the point across fairly well without being too confusing for the viewer. Another thing I probably should have picked up on is that new, like, weird Yotsugi is kind of copying Kagenui's style a little bit with the long pants and the very tall look and that kind of thing, right? Same color pattern, similar design. You'd have to look for the little fucking star things that are all over their designs as well. That's probably another indicator there as well. And yeah, I'm aware of the short stories that I can be accessing for further contextualization. And yeah, very keen to do so after Zoku Owari, for sure. That brings me to Eben's comment. Eben's comment here comes with a little bit of baggage, I guess, from the rest of the week, where people had been secretly planning to not tell me that there's more. Right, if that makes any sense. So Eben's like real cat out of the bag stuff, right? Like, here's the thing. As soon as Owari's second season happens, and that's not the end, Zoku Owari is obviously not the end. Like, I'm not... It's called continuation of the end. Like, and the styling of the season so far is very, very not, like, epilogue-y. I think it clearly indicates that there's more. I asked the leading question last week of if there is more, because I imagined there would be more. Because, like, this isn't a surprise to me now, after seeing what the show did. So I'm not sure the plan to reveal to me at the very end that there was more would have worked, because I would have just been like, oh, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Either way, just looking at a few of these, like this Orgi Monogatari and Shinobu Monogatari, those seem interesting, right? Among other ones, I don't know, Musubi? I feel like I know what musubi means. Anyway, this is very obviously like not adapted. I don't even know why I'm looking at it. I guess we'll see what this Kizumonogatari like recap movie weird thing that they're doing will do. If that inspires them to keep making more Monogatari, it's yet to be seen. I believe somebody has indicated to me that there was a tweet a while ago that said they were going to adapt the whole thing, but sure. I don't know, it was an interesting story on the Discord this week, I guess. Now after that debacle, nice simple comment here from Tyrese Andre, which is just cool beans. Thanks, Tyrese. Actually, a few simple ones in a row, because now we've got Doble, I never know, epilogue, or rather the punchline, in that it's a bit of a joke. Maybe. And yeah, again, like, is it really an epilogue? It's an epilogue to the TV stuff so far, but you know what I mean. Creator here, I hate expressive Ononoki. It's cursed. I was with you last week. I've come around to full-blown loving it. I want to see more of her. I think that'll be Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good for the soul. Matt with the next comment here, meant to post this after Augie Dark, but here's a little thought experiment. Think of all the shitty things Augie did in the series, her ploys involving Sodachi, machinations involving Nadeko and the Talisman, her attack on Kaiki, hiring Tadetsuru as a hitman, her implied attack on Kaganui, and lastly trying to unveil Tsukihi's true nature. Now replace Augie with Araragi. And yeah, I did this little thought experiment in my head, and yeah, it makes a whole lot of sense, huh? Like, you just backfill the entire story and with this concept in mind. That's why I said it was. That's why in like episode 1 of Orky Dark, when I was like watching that, and then I thought about it, I'm like, oh, yeah, this makes a ton of sense. Particularly the one that blew my mind was the attack on Kaiki and how violent it was. Yeah, because again, Araragi not a fan of Kaiki, and maybe some of that coming out there. I think that's very interesting, right? Almost like a jealous rage over the Senjugahara stuff. Very interesting. Yeah, just as Hanakawa's cat and tiger and Kambaro's monkey, it's not unreasonable to believe that all of Augi's misdeeds truly originate from her maker Araragi. It was Araragi all along. Yeah, this is the theme of the show, I would almost say, right? Like the two sides of our personality, how perspective like goes along with that, and how again they can it's not black and white. You see how it all comes together? Also interesting to note that Augie truly did only punish liars. Araragi was lying to himself about the Sodachi incidents for years. Nadeko was refusing to live a genuine life. Kaiki is the personification of a liar. True. Tadetsuru lies about being alive. Kaganui hides her true relationship with Yotsugi. And, well, yeah, question mark on that one. But Tsukihi lies about the true nature as a phoenix. I buy this one after that one episode of Koyomi Monogatari, for sure. Because that's like literally what that's about, and then she disappears. Think about it. Even Nomachi Roka as well, but by the time of Hana, Augie is showing a bit of restraint by allowing Kambaro to handle the situation. Very cool. I still don't know what kind of form Augie... I mean, like, Augie's still, like, around. I just, like... I want to see Augie again, I think. I just want to see how that looks. And last comment here today from Tac D. I know this comment is a bit late, but this is what I thought of, or just thought of. Augie as an existence that criticizes Araragi. She did not agree with Araragi's willingness to sacrifice himself for others easily, but in fact, Augie was going to do something similar at the end. She was willing to be exterminated for the sake of making Araragi's adolescence more correct. So in that way, they are more similar to each other than we even thought. I think this is a fantastic point and only adds to the layers of that conclusion and how good it is. And it's only natural that a personification of Araragi would be all self-sacrificey over another person, even if it is just like the real him. You know? I don't know, it gets a little bit convoluted there, but I'm sure you guys are following along fine. I'm the one that we need to worry about. So this was last week's recap. I'm not sure I'm going to go entirely into it. All we really need to know is that we're continuing from the end. There's some bad connotations about what may happen in this portion of the story. Koyomi Reverse, I believe the arc is called. Araragi feels a little bit misplaced about where he is in the world right now because he's at that weird flux state between ending high school and starting the next stage of whatever his life's going to be. Gets trapped into like a weird mirror world that has some connotations around water that we're going to keep an eye on as it pertains to the guy and stuff, guy and toy. That's what I wanted to say. And yeah, when we're in that mirror world, we notice that a lot of the world is flipped and that certain character personalities are also flipped. So, like, Karen is short as opposed to her being tall. Don't know why I right-clicked, but anyway. Tsukihi has her yukata folded the wrong way, but I think there's more going on there. Yutsugi is extremely expressive as opposed to monotone, which she normally is like. Hachikuji is in big sis mode, so she's no longer little girl, she is big girl, much like how she was in Kabuki. Shinobu is nowhere to be seen, something about mirrors and vampires you would think. We're keen to see how different characters are changed as we continue as well. That is like the gimmick of this part of the story. In that way, it's very fan servicey, very gimmicky, but I can't say I don't enjoy it. And we're lampshading it all along the way as well. So, I mean, it's Monogatari, right? I think our jumping off point for the next stuff is that, hey, we need to contact Shinobu. How do we contact Shinobu? Araragi has some weird thoughts about the reflection on the water of the bathhouse where Kambaru's family lives, on that dad's side of the family, and how it may pertain to, again, the Kambaru dad. He saw the love of his life, Guy and Toei, in the reflection there. keeping an eye on it. We're going to see very, very shortly regardless, as well as in this episode you would imagine see a inverted Kambaru. Is she like not perverted? Is she super meek and scared? Or is it going to be more, again, aesthetic, like Karen's has been, and that kind of thing? Either way, I'm ready to jump in regardless, so just going to do my shill stuff here, so if you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like the video and you want to see more, consider subscribing to the channel. Comment below anything you thought about the episode, anything I could do to improve my presentation, comment below. I'm doing follow for follow on Twitter, so follow me on Twitter if you'd like me to follow you back, and the Discord. Join Discord, love Discord. Discord, Discord, Discord. And yeah, ready to jump into episode 2 of Zoku Owarimonogatari right now. Rightio, I have episode 2 of Zoku Owarimonogatari up here ready to go. Let me pop that up there. 24 minutes and 37 seconds on this one, so please sync up accordingly. As always, there will be a picture-in-picture in the description below, as well as using those Edo subs. It seems like we're jumping right into the opening, so just gonna give it a 3, 2, 1 and hop right in. Rightio? 3, 2, 1, go. I thought I turned on the subtitles. There they are. Good. A little bit quiet. What was I watching recently? It must have been Girls and Panzer being really loud. Anyway. Yeah, still interested with that character on the castle. Don't really know what that's about. I can't think of many other openings with this much like vocal effects on it and that kind of thing. That's kind of interesting, right? Like that amount of auto-tune and the reverse and the everything, right? It's very melodic. I like it. We keep seeing like various numbers too. I wonder if they're going to be relevant. Oh, the Kambaru residents, we're here. Yeah. Well, this is a nice 3D look. Yeah, I remember. I mean, you kind of just need to do whatever you can, right? Mm-hmm. I don't think it's a portal. I think that's more likely, yeah. Communication device. I'm definitely recording. That's good. They're just monogataring the shit out of this. Yeah? Well, show me. I think she's still going to be all of these things, maybe. Or is she just going to be like the Rainy Devil? Oh. Well, I mean, that's bad. Yeah? Elaborate. What do you hate? This looks so cool. No, it's still like a very human voice. Are you running on the wall? Oh my god. This looks rad as fuck. Not the Great Wall. Some good old hyperbole. Is it normally the right? Oh. Wait, is it normally the left? Yeah, okay, so it isn't reversed. I love the lowercase there. That's great. Oh, Okay, I just heard like a Black Hanakawa type situation, I think. Yep. This is fucking rad. What? Why? As well as the sub work being excellent. Yeah, some energy drain. Yeah. It's been a while, eh? It's been a while. Well, I haven't really had a chance to think about anything. Why did he just go limp? What was that about? It's still pretty bad. I like the bike in the sandpit's cute too. Well, like literally that's her like mirror counterpart. Some good old Monogatari just put the camera in their crutch. It's almost nostalgic. Yeah. Yeah. Of course you would notice. Interesting. So like not mirrored as well. Yeah. Nah, that was in Kizu. I don't think we're gonna do that again. I'm willing to take that risk. Was that some that's like some Metal Gear shit. Well, yeah, it's a really weird question to ask somebody. Okay, what is the warning? I don't know, what if I snuck in? Just, yeah, spread them legs. Purity? Wait, for who asked you to do that? Did somebody ask you to do that? Yeah, get Shino. Oh, wait. Well, partner can mean multiple things, but I'd imagine she's implying Senjo. That was cute too, calling her Neko then Hanakawa. Is that the first time we've made that joke? That's a little bit funny. Ooh, that's cool too. Well, yeah, it's gotten way more complicated just now. I think it's because they have these oddity sides, right? Because they've got these mirrored sides, right? You would imagine Tsukihi because she's mortal? That's what I would have thought. Yeah, get your priorities right. That's good. What's based on that visual? It's not. Go on. Okay. Yeah, I could see how that would be annoying. I don't think anybody's brain could. Well, if you had a friend, you could be like, "Can you read this to me?" Oh no. No, no, don't talk to her. No, not Yotsugi. She did seem to be cluing into a lot of things earlier, though. Uh, who? Unideko? Well, who the fuck is this? I definitely don't know who it is. Koyomin? Wait, is it who I think it is? Who the fuck is this? What is happening? I feel so. I'm not just not. I'm not with it today. Well, I know about math puzzles. Really? Okay. Well, this is just sad. What if she had like a good life? Is that the reversal? Hmm. Yeah, how amazing's that? Turn that frown upside down. You're happy now. Are we doing our math stuff again? Oh no. Gauss? Gauss? Oh, it's a fucking math joke. Jesus. That's a very small sip. Stop. It just makes me sad. Why don't you have twin tails? Damn, that's depressing. Anyway. Uncle and auntie? What about your mother? What's happening there? I agree. Why do you feel that way, though? Okay, that was a weird detour. Sure. Yeah, specialist is good. Look at this Rube Goldberg. Ugh, don't bite your lip. Yeah, it's definitely gotten more serious as we've gone on. Like, oh, the 3 reversals we've seen today are not good. Oh, who is that behind you? Well, I know white hair. Hello, my reliable helper. Why is she acting like Shinobu? She's like a delinquent. Sure. Remember how we fought for like a month here? That was funny. What's the dealio? Oh my god. I know, but we put an end to that. Because I have to say something to you, right? I mean, if you could tell me some stuff, that'd be great. But also, like, should I trust you? Also, it's a weird metaphor. Are they? How so? Explain yourself. Oh. Mirror and Snake Eyes? Oh my god. Yeah, have this sake. Yeah, what else are we supposed to do with them? We're gods. We just. That's what they're for. I can understand why Araraki would feel a little bit sheepish, though. But that's not how they work. Really. When I raise my right hand also raises. It's just reversed. Why? Because she want to keep drinking? They show the truth. I agree. Could you please help me? Yeah, just explain it in more words. Are we saying like this is the real world and we've been living in the reverse one forever? But one clearly isn't. Not at all. I have evidence to disprove what you say. I don't think you're illusions. Okay. Okay. I think I'm understanding what you're saying, even if I don't agree. Now, she's trashed. You can't speak to her anymore. Okay, sure. I think I came to it in different words. But I disagree. And I'll explain why. Well, yeah, that explains why the Augie stuff didn't work in the end of Dark. Okay. Now I have a portion of time to explain that. Great. I don't believe that Yotsuki wants to be like that on the inside. I don't believe that's her character. I don't believe that Karen's short on the inside or like has no shame around being naked. That doesn't make any sense to me. The other one, like the Hanakawa and the Kambaru stuff notwithstanding, that makes a whole bunch of sense, right? The Nadeko one? What? What do you mean? What do you mean that? Like Nadeko, like the inside of Nadeko isn't like Kuchinawa. I'm not seeing what's inside of them. I'm seeing a reversal based on a certain factor. I still don't believe their premise at all, except for a couple of examples. Also, what's the show's obsession with Senjo Gahara just being absent, like, the whole time? I don't know. Good thing the episode was produced really well, though. Like, it looked amazing at points. Because otherwise I'd give it a big old question mark. And I still kind of am giving it a big old question mark, but either way, we're going to write something down, I guess. Or, I mean, not. I'm not going to write anything down because, I just don't think I can summarize it correctly at the moment, right? A lot of it is, like, revelations about whatever we explain at the end. I'll just read through it again. Maybe it'll make more sense. Because I think they're getting to something, right, when talking about, like, a character as, like, a Japanese character. Like writing wise, right? And I'm sure there's a bunch of clever stuff you can do with like reversing the meaning of like a certain character on a page and that kind of thing, right? And only seeing a certain character in a certain light, the other side of them on a piece of paper. That part's pretty clever. I just disagree with the premise of seeing the inside of a character on the outside, right? Because clearly this means metaphorically like who they are inside. I'm seeing who they are inside right now. That is not my read of any of these characters up to this point. Well, bar a few, right? The Hanakawa one makes perfect sense. But unless we get major character development for 5 or so characters, I don't see this, right? We already know who Nadeko wants to be inside. It was part of what Owarimonogatari was about. Like, completely and totally. Kind of, right? Why is she Kuchinoa? I must just be misinterpreting it. Like, totally, because that just shits all over all parts of the story. Like, what? Because the implication we're trying to make from all of this is like these are the truer versions of whatever characters they are, right? Like this is their like personification. This is the truest version of them. Again, I like the Tsukihi one. That one makes perfect sense. Just like a few of them, just big old question marks. One thing I'm very disappointed about, right off the bat, is that we didn't do any of the bath stuff. There's like a big old scary rainy devil in the way. Like, I was more excited about talking to Guy and Toy about the subject, but no, that's not what we see thus far. We're going to have to wait and bide our time on that, but yeah, I don't know. Again, good thing this part of the episode's really well produced. And through the starting portion here, we just kind of confirm basically what I thought based on the Koyomi Monogatari stuff. Like, we're going to look in the bath and look for a reflection and then try to communicate somehow with the other side through that. So we show up to the Kambaru's house, and the first thought that Araragi has is this, right? Like, oh, it's going to be interesting to see who Kambaru is. Like, we've built a pattern, right? Of what these characters are going to be like. We're going to take an aspect of their personality and flip it. Again, much like our left and right stuff. But no, it takes whoever is internal and portrays them external, right? So yeah, goes to touch the door, but is rudely interrupted by, again, the rainy devil. He gets punched a long way there too. Kambaru's situation up to this point hasn't been resolved as it pertains to the arm. Like, Hana Monogatari hasn't happened yet. So there's still a bunch of angst there. There's still a bunch of worry around the arm. There's still a bunch of like all the Hana Monogatari stuff in the start. Like, why is she still tying her arm to that pole, right? Like, this makes a whole lot of sense. So I'm with you up to here. Rainier Devil is here. I think a lot of the sub work's fantastic. The animation on that like movement there. And this one here, that's a fantastic shot. Love the colors. Araragi goes to right away, but is very quickly pursued on the wall. Like, this is just it has to be referential or something, right? It just feels inspired. It feels like an inspired like chase scene. It feels like there's some looming threat. It's just awesome to look at. Top tier, very good. Aragi has a thought in this moment. Kambaru is using her left hand, right, which is the correct hand. So this is what we mean at the end of the episode. She hasn't been flipped left to right like everybody else. Like, we just assume everybody else has based on the Tsukihi stuff and based on the rest of the world. Like, they don't need to be flipped left to right because they're flipped internal to external. Hence why arm is on the correct side, but Rainy Devil is reigning at the moment, if that makes any sense. And then we get the clashing subs here as well. So the hate from the Rainy Devil, and then the nyahaha from the Black Hanakawa, right? The Sawari Neko. As soon as I heard the nyahaha, as soon as I heard that, I knew exactly what was going to happen. We're still getting these little like kaleidoscope things as well. So this is yeah, these colors are very very much Hanakawa. I can't tell you why, but they are. And the ones for Kambaro were like a deeper red. A bit earlier as well, which is interesting. And yeah, to just finish off our little subbing metaphor, this sub bounces away into what looks like fucking New York City. But anyway, yeah, fantastic. So that's coming off of the hate stuff and then running away with this. Just a great idea executed very well. My whole body was gripped by a sense of fatigue. I do like these very stark white and black text scenes in between. I think it's a great style. I mean, obviously mimicking the style of the rest of the show, but I just like this one aesthetically a lot more. Yeah, Araragi got energy drained. This particular portion of the story it's very lewd. So please be advised, I know everybody hates that kind of stuff. Wasn't Hanakawa supposed to be traveling abroad? I don't know, but she's here, so I don't know. It just makes sense that I don't know, like a reverse thing. Anyway, we basically come to the same realization here through different means, right? We look at Hanakawa's assets, for lack of a better term, and again, Araragi knows that one is bigger than the other for some reason. Well, I know why, but like, anyway. There's no reversal there. There's no left and right switch. So again, same understanding from the Rainy Devil stuff. Black Hanakawa is just the internal of Hanakawa portrayed outward. Okay, so you got me along this far. So now when I talk about Sodachi a little bit later on, you can understand where I'm coming from this too. Listen, I think I'm making an assumption here that everybody's situation needs to be similar for this to make sense, for this to click into place. And I just don't think that that's what's happening here. I just don't, it just doesn't fit as neatly as other stuff. And maybe that's fine. Maybe that's just what we're going for. So I don't know. It's been absolutely ages since we've seen Black Hanakawa as well. So it was nice to see her again. Not since Neko Shiro, right? I think. Yeah. That's a long time. You'll learn the true meaning of chest pain if you try to touch my breasts to confirm their size. Good joke. Yeah, I don't know. Again, is this like a Metal Gear or am I being dumb? No, it's not really a Metal Gear. I don't know, it's some kind of heart monitor thing, I don't know. This is interesting. We ask Hanakawa if this is a mirror world. I can't tell you the answer to that question. As an inhabitant of this world, I can't give you the answer even though I know what you're talking about. So it's not like she's clueless, she just can't say. But no matter what I say, it won't prove a thing. And then the one thing we say is don't go to the monkey's poor house, Kambaro's house. Don't go there anymore. Even though we really want to go there for the mirror reflection stuff. I'll change my question here, Black Hanakawa. Who asked you to come help me? Easy there. What makes you think someone asked me to do that? And I'll pass on that question for now as well. Intriguing. Okay. And if you are intent on visiting that bathhouse, make sure you take a partner with you. I read this as take your partner with you. So again, that can mean multiple people, but I interpreted Shinobu initially. So do we need to take Shinobu there? But we're going to that place to access Shinobu, so that doesn't make any sense. Again, Senju even though she's fucking, she never shows up in any of the episodes. She's like I would love to see a breakdown of screen time of Senju. Like, I just don't think she's on screen enough in the entire show, basically. Which is interesting. Again, we've talked about perspective as it pertains to that as well, so yeah. But who's he going to take to the bathhouse? I don't know. I mean, you would be a good person to take. You seem pretty strong, but I think we're going to do something different than that. Another cute moment here is when Araragi says Neko, like going to call her cat, but then calls her Hanakawa. It's almost like he's accepted in his own mind that they are the same entity. That's what I saw from that little mini line there as well. Like, why else would you like include that if it wasn't relevant to that situation? I think it's progress for Araragi in understanding this side of Hanakawa. And then she says, like, I don't know everything, I just know what I know, but in like a cat voice, which I thought was cute. Then we have this sequence here, which I think is particularly visually striking. I really like the bright lights in the background and the reflection, the long shadows it casts, as we can see a little bit here earlier. A little bit later than that. Yeah, here. Great shot. It's almost like I'm looking at a 3D model of something in some software. I think that looks really neat. We get to talking here, Araragi within his own thoughts, like, hey, this shit, it isn't bad writing, as I said earlier. It's actually deeper than I thought. We're bringing oddities into it. We're bringing a weird, different, more serious type of reflection out of this. So again, a little bit fourth wall. Hey, this is less summary and unserious than you thought. Which is, again, was my take from last week. We asked the question here, why was Tsukihi the only person to have exhibited no changes? So if we take a very base view again, right, why isn't Karen a bee? Why isn't Tsukihi a phoenix, right? Like, again, it'd make no sense. But, like, you know what I mean, though, right? Like, it's obviously just not bringing the oddity out. It's, again, deeper than that. I actually really like the Tsukihi one, because, again, that, like, she's so pure. Augie tried to target her for like a full 5 or 10 minutes of conversation, and she just said, yeah, sure. I love her character in that regard. She's very forthright. She's not going to be manipulated by this. She's sure of her internal self as much as her external self. And then Araragi goes to a bookstore to buy a dirty magazine because he got horny about Hanakawa. He goes to look at history in the library. Are these the names of people on the ground but reversed? Because this is cute, like, from a meta decision as well, because in the past we've had Araragi riding or driving or something, and there's been words on the ground explaining certain concepts as he's riding along. And now we've just reversed them, but I'm imagining that this would be like a Toyotomi Hibe Yoshi, who was a famous samurai apparently, so cool. So Araragi attempts to read book, but cannot, because, again, it's taxing on the brain to keep reversing, and again, it's amplified in Japanese with all these different kanji, right? Like, I can look at that and tell you what that is, like one at a time, but putting them together to form meaning in sentences, not quite. This is important for later when we make our discoveries around, like, looking at it in the light and the reversal and the other side of the page and that kind of thing, right? So yeah, apparently Hachikuji or Nesan wouldn't be ready right now, so we're going to go and talk to Yotsugi because she might have a clue as to what's going on. I'm simultaneously happy and disappointed that we didn't end up seeing her. Instead, we go to the Araragi household and see a completely different character, right? One that had me stumped for a long damn time. Like, I'm sorry, I can't tell you who the hell this is based on... Like, put a picture of, like, normal Sodachi up here. Like, I'm not going to be able to tell you that. Because of the Koyomin, I thought it was some weird Guy and Izuku thing. And I'm like, what the fuck made Guy and Izuku look like this? I see it in the hair color now and the eye color? But other than that, I don't know how you could identify anything at all. Like, we've never seen her in these clothes. To my knowledge, her body type isn't even like this. Sure, whatever. But I'm meant to be stumped. I'm there along with Araragi. It's actually pretty good in that regard, I think. So, taking what we know now about the condition of the world, the reversals, what is internal is now external, this becomes tragic. This becomes terrible. It's bringing up all that Sadachi baggage that I thought was gone. This was like an internal desire for her in a weird way, right? To have a... Listen, that jealousy of Araragi's family unit, right, being personified here. So what is internal, that feeling, becoming external. I am now in his family. I'm related to him. I'm so intensely jealous of that. I love mathematics as opposed to ending up hating it in the end, right? Because of the whole thing, right? Or she doubled down on mathematics as a kind of coping mechanism as well. Anyway, it was a long time ago. I remember this voice speak dipping with a different tone and nuance, berating me. It most certainly did for many episodes. And she's like weirdly horny as well, by the way, because, Monogatari. But like, listen, with the interpretation I think I've just taken it too seriously still. But we're trying to take it seriously as well. Like, it isn't like funny times anymore. We're trying to create some meaning out of this now. I don't know. It doesn't sit right with me completely for all the characters, and for that I'm a little bit hesitant. Because correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think there was any real romantic implication to like anything that they did. Sodachi and Araragi. Like, I think that Araragi at one point or another may have had like a crush based on like the middle school stuff when they were doing their little tutoring sessions. Even if it was middle school, I don't know if it was. But I don't think there was some stuff where like Sodachi like secretly liked him or anything. I don't know. Weird. And then we see the math puzzles and we put together who it is, so that's when I got it. And yeah, we've been living together since elementary school. Man, Maybe this world's okay. Maybe we could have lived here. I'm curious. We should ask the question of what her parents are doing at the moment. Both are bad, but you know. There's some weird math shit going on here where we've got like a reversed Euler's identity stuff. And all these Fibonacci sequences, among other things, all these perfect mathematical models. Instead of using, I believe we used like a shell in the past or something, we're using like a sunflower. It's cute. It's meant to show contrast, you know? Basically everything's showing contrast. She's like acting like, I don't even know who she's acting like. Somebody like super bubbly. Which we don't even have this kind of character in the show, really. Hey, Sodachi, the mathematician you admire the most is Euler, right? What gave you that idea? Euler-sensei is certainly one of the greats, but I admire is Gauss-sensei. These changes are too subtle to grasp. Does this even count as being mirrored? Man, this going over my head. I did a little bit of research, and it seemed something about algebra or something. And something about summing. He discovered something at a very young age regarding like a very important formula around summing of things based on n. But again, like I'm like a math guy. Like yeah, the Sodachi we know getting all cute about indirect kisses and stuff. It just doesn't mesh. It doesn't fit well with me. Now this is where we get interesting though, right? We get a little bit darker. Araragi solved all of the correct things. One other discrepancy is like why is she so small? I never saw her as this small. Well, Araragi's really big. I don't know. Yeah, this is obviously like a reversal as well. Like, so despite me studying and having better grades than you, I can never get one over on you on these kind of things, but I don't feel the least bit spiteful or frustrated. Again, like the exact opposite of before. This feels kind of strange. Things have always been this way, and I want them to stay this way forever. But what's wrong with me? I've got this like new family with me now. Everyone treats me so nicely. I couldn't be happier, but for some reason, it feels like one big lie. Now, why do you feel like this, right? This is some of the like unworthiness of happiness stuff coming through that we kind of explored during your arcs. Maybe. Like self-worth there. Maybe this is the internal getting externalized, right? Like the most tragic lines during those Sodachi episodes are like, I think it's too late for me. Too late for happiness, right? As pertains to Sodachi. And I think this is that feeling coming through in a weird way as well. But again, I'm sure we're going to explore more of this concept as we continue. Even these like stairs here, this is almost like some math shit as well. But yeah, Ononoki isn't here, so we can't talk to her, even though she's like a weirdo and would probably just confuse us anyway. And then we see like a Rube Goldberg machine, so I don't really understand what that's about. As well as like the lip biting. Anyway, this is probably my favorite line of the episode. I was wrong to dismiss it as lazy writing, right? It's actually deeper than that. Again, extremely fourth wall, for sure. So yeah, this isn't your run-of-the-mill, like, funny paradox world that's used for a gag. Like, there's actually some internal logic here that we need to discover, and that is what we discover in our final scene here, with this character that's hiding behind us. As soon as I saw the white hair and the uniform, I'm like, well, yeah, I know who this is, but it wasn't the who that I thought it was. Mayoi One-san tapped into her connections, right? And called over a reliable helper. My predecessor, Kuchinawa-san. Very interesting, right? So, like, not Nadeko, but almost like Nadeko's oddity flipped. But not in a similar metaphorical way where I think it's her desires flipped. Because if so, I think that she would just be fucking drawing manga. Because that's what she wanted the entire time. Unless that arc was a lie. There must be some oddity element to it, right? That's what I think anyway. Just to get off topic for a little bit, I love this animation on Hachikuji here. Like that. Fantastic. Love it. So good. Yeah, Koyomi Oni-chan, hello, hi, I'm here, and she says, like, sha a lot. So, like, is this just, like, Kuchinawa's personality? It's kind of like that. He's a little bit slimy and criminal-esque based on his appearance earlier in the show. But, I don't know, it's hitting a weird note for me. The cat was right, you think too much. And then Araragi's confused, and then Hachikuji winks. And then stop it, you suck at winking, which is another great joke, because I think, like, it's normally a thing with kids that they're not very good at winking and that kind of thing. So I think it's a little bit of, like, actual child Hachikuji coming out here. I'm going to be a little bit more cooperative than the cat. So, okay, listen. From the stuff that Hanakawa was saying before, I think we can imply that there is some external force causing all of these things to happen, right? that is giving commands and pulling strings somewhat, keeping an eye on it, and Hanakawa is bound by whatever rules they are, where Kuchinawa or Nadeko isn't, so she can spill the beans in a little bit more detail. And then I don't know what this is, but why did she like tackle Araragi? Because I thought at this point it was going to be like, I'm tackling you as a guise and then going to like whisper something in your ear. So maybe something from this tackle will come back later, but I don't know. Yeah, you think too much, Araragi. It's a mirror world, try to lighten up. Maybe I should take this advice as well, and not take it all too seriously. But again, I think the show is trying to. Weird. So snakes are experts on mirrors, and I would need to have a look at the language line here, but I'm pretty sure it's because, like, snake eyes means mirror or something. The word for mirror is derived from snake eyes. They're both kagami. Bet you didn't know that. Well, not really. I didn't. And then we start eating all the offerings that were made at the shrine with like balloons. I think that's funny. This is almost reflecting. Remember, like the really sad party that Araragi had with Nadeko during Koyomi Monogatari. It's almost like reflecting that. I think in a weird way, like with the balloons and stuff. Yeah, very very funny scene. I love that. What was I gonna say? Yeah, the snake eyes. We're very good at finding esoteric language things and applying them to the show, I will say. So yeah, they're all eating like the mochi and drinking the sake, which is, you know, a little bit not great. But anyway. So now this whole conversation makes a whole lot of sense, to the point where like I don't even really need to see it in a whole lot of detail. Like, it's like, okay, mirrors show stuff left to right. Well, if I put up my right hand, it shows my left hand going up, which, again, I'm like, that's not how mirrors work. It just shows a reflection. It's not your left hand going up in the mirror. It's still your right hand. It's just the different side. But we take that a step further. We say that mirrors are like a view into the truth in a weird way, right? Either way, Hachikuji's going to save her opinion till last, so be excited for that whenever that may come. But I think she got too blasted on the sake to say anything. Yeah, mirrors showed the truth, right? Since ancient times, they've been used as a means to that end, as sacred artifacts. Yeah, they show the truth. Yeah, those are loaded words, right? Like, what do you mean by that? They do show the truth in a pretty real way by showing my true, like, reflection, what I look like to external parties. But this mirror goes deeper, reflecting what is internal to the external, turning people inside out, as we say. Yeah, some aspects of the world are reversed, but also, like, there's another factor going on, hence why the arm and the boob are the wrong way, or the right way. Yeah, none of anybody, anywhere, has been reversed in any way. Okay, so are you saying that all of this is the truth, right? That this interpretation of Mayoi is like the same Mayoi. I agree with that. I picked that up in the first episode. I'm like, yeah, this Hachikuji seems like Hachikuji. The ones I'm most curious about are you and Sodachi. Those are the ones that are throwing me. I can buy the rest, as well as Karen, but we haven't even really spoken to her yet, so like, whatever. I don't believe that this is what Nadeko's really like, right? Unless it's just Kuchinawa that's taking on a form of Nadeko. This isn't like the true Nadeko. We know the true Nadeko. That's what the metaphors in the show have been showing up to this point. This isn't right. And the Sodachi one's very interesting, but, like, I can buy it because it's tragic enough, I think. Like, this is what she truly wanted the entire time, if not how she really felt. Yeah, I'm Sengoku Nadeko. I disagree. I disagree completely. Unless, okay, in the same way that Orgi is a mirror to Araragi, this could be like an Orgi situation for, like, a Nadeko? Like, this is an interpretation of her innermost thoughts, her darkest innermost thoughts. The Kuchinawa stuff. I do not know. The shashas and stuff are throwing me as well. It's almost like Shinobu when she's trying to be all like godly and stuff. So maybe this is just like a godly intonation of speaking as well. Anyway, we just get to like, we basically just say what I already said. Like, we look at characters and then we look at them in like the light, and then we're like, oh shit, it's like not reversed, but on the other side of the page. Cute though. I like blasted Hachikuji. This is interesting too, right? So if you saw a mirrored character and you had no concept of those characters, you would just interpret it as correct. And then the other side would be flipped. It's all about perspective in that regard and prior knowledge. In that same way, we apply it to the actual characters of the show. And the only reason we realize that these characters are different is because we know some aspect of them already. They're only different based on our perception of them right now. So again, this is just a different perception of them. All of these things can be true. Listen, I think I'm seeing it a little bit better, but I'd like this to be extrapolated on a little bit more. Yeah, mirrors don't reverse people left to right, they turn people inside out. Eureka! Which is adding to a lot of the math stuff from earlier. I believe I saw this visual earlier too. Oh, this is reflecting, who fucking did this? He sat in the bath and then noticed that his volume made the level of the bath get higher, and then he ran through town naked. Who was that? Archimedes. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's who this is. Again, as I've talked about already, that explains why Tsukihi's the exact same. It speaks good to Tsukihi's character. So yeah, he's gone through the mirror and ended up on the other side. There's a weird part here where we go through like a bunch of frames. Yeah, we basically just spend like 2 frames each on like a bunch of stuff. Like, I don't know, it was fucking weird. I don't know why that was at the end of the episode. Yeah, I think this needs to be expanded upon more for me to buy it completely. Maybe if they go through each of the separate characters and think about how they are turned inside out, this will start to make a whole lot more sense. And yeah, I think we'll do that right now. So yeah, I'll see you in a second. I guess I should say, like, I hope I didn't come across too negative during that segment. I still think the episode's quite good, and I'm eager to know more. I'm just a little bit confused. I thought they were doing a little bit of character assassination there, but I don't really think that that's what we have going on. I think it's just like a different interpretation, a perspective that I hadn't seen up to this point that, again, needs some more context. But now the episode's up. Actually, no, I lie, it's not up at all. So I'll get it up now. Now it's up, and then you pause it, and then you go over here, and then you go like subtitles, and then you go Edo subs, which are the subs I'm using. Now I can pop that up there. 26 minutes and 7 seconds. Oh my god, it's very long. And picture-in-picture, obviously, in the description below. I'm just going to give this a 3, 2, 1, I believe. So without any further ado, 3, 2, 1, go. Chapter 14. Well, maybe I had to. Indeed. Okay, nice little stage, cute. This is exactly what I wanted so far, right? We're going to have like a look at each of these characters specifically. Yes. Which is what I tried to do and failed. Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. I'm with you. Oh. Okay, I like that look. Sure. Well, yeah. Internally, she's a way older age. Yes. True. Sometimes. But brains do. Cutie patootie. Well, the Kambaru stuff makes a whole lot of sense in regards to Hana Monogatari and what happens through that period of the story. Very interesting metaphor for underside, but sure. Inversion, not a reflection. Yeah, it's just too sad. Yeah, it embodies desire, right? Yeah. Well, that's good. Yeah, she doesn't believe she's not worthy of it anymore, or that it's too late for that. Hardy ha. You reckon? Indeed. Kind of. I don't know why she's naked. Listen, I'll give you a pass. I don't like that one. Well, yeah, she was under a guise, but it's not like she's like this now. You know? And there's more. Oh my god. I like this visually though a lot. I'm hoping for an opening at some point. Thank you. Cool. I have a bone to pick. I know this was originally a film, yeah? I think they've picked a really poor point to put a break in a film right then and there. I think that's a really poor spot because I think that this segment, this 6 minutes, needs to somehow be in the last episode, right? Because otherwise, people are going to walk away from it and be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I think it's a poor spot to put that. I think you need to rejig some stuff, right? Even if like you have 5 episodes here and they're just longer instead of the 6. I think that would work better. Just yeah, because people, I don't know how this was released. Well, I know how it was released. It was a film, but was this weekly out at any point, or was this episodic structure just ancillary? Because if at any point anybody had to wait a week in between learning that information and this little explanation, then their mind's going to be running rampant in a way that I don't think is great. Anyway, lucky I watched 2 this week. Very lucky. Isekai? True. So doesn't that imply that, yeah, I think you would be on the other side. I think you've swapped spots. We already know who an inverted Aragi is, though, right? You know? I think you swap places. That would have been my interpretation. Oh my god. In the same way that you're having a rough time here. Yeah. My arch enemy. I don't know about that. Thought we come to some kind of real, like, revelation there. Reconciliation. Okay. I just want to meet more characters now. Not that there's many more. Yeah, I had manga to draw. Okay, bye. So it's something outside my door. Fucking weird. Are we in the shower again? Indeed. I don't think they will. Who's in your room? Anybody? Oh, this is her room. Dripping with sex appeal. Shut up. Okay, bye. No, this just isn't my room anymore. It's a bit weird. Is it a bunk bed? What's going on? Okay. Okay, explain your metaphor, please. That's interesting. Okay. What about a camera then? Is a camera a better method of that? Ah. Why are you acting weird? Exactly. Are you from the other side? Oh, to this world's. Okay. Show me do this world Shinobu, please. Okay. We've had conversations with people like at this spot like tons of times. It's reversed though. That's funny. That's very cute. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah. Thanks. Hmm. The proof's in the pudding. Okay, that's pretty deep. Funny. Both. Listen to the voice inside you. So what are these lights? It's March. Cabedon. Okay. Very funny. They basically said the same joke 3 times, and I thought all 3 versions were pretty good. Okay. Peace, peace. Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit weird. Yeah, because you're an oddity not acting as it should according to this mirror world. What are you talking about, man? When did we make such a promise? Cute. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's an Undertale reference. I bought her a book. What are these options? Oh, I love where they're sitting right now too. That's great. Yeah, look at it. Fantastic. I mean, Are you watching my video, or? Okay. I'm bracing myself. Yeah, kinda. Oh, and then they're standing here. Yo, this is great. I love the visuals of this arc. Nobody's. No. Okay, did she have anything to say? Nope. It's not what I said at all. Okay, I'll give you that one. And what is that? Alright. Get to the. She would never do such a thing. Interesting. A helping paw is great too. Exactly. Who got Black Hanakawa to do that if the Black Hanakawa in this world wouldn't do such a thing? She's such a fucking troll this episode. Okay. Good friends. What, to some kind of cram school? Indeed. Yeah, by that cute, very cute tiger. Not so cute. But how would that make sense with anything we've been talking about? You got anything for me? Oh, hello, fireworks. Oh. Oh, so it was Shinobu on the thing the whole time. That's a bit funny. I wanted to see his reaction. That's a bit funny. To Shinobu's fucking castle. Mr. Devil. Yeah, why not? We need to go talk to her. Some things are the same, some things are different. Okay, interesting. Some things are just backfilled, right? It's like, I don't know why I do this, but I do. You might have to call a kiss shot. So she's full powered, is she? Yeah. Interesting. You better not fuck up, because she's pretty strong. But does she know of Kizu? Does she know what happened there? Is this going to be our cutoff? I feel like it is. We're not going to get to speak to Shinobu, which is sad. Oh, I like the colors, like a lot. Oh, she's very official. Bestowed upon me. By whom? Okay. Do I get to see her? No? Thanks. Anyway. What did I think of that one? Very funny. I like the stuff with Yotsugi a lot. I do think we double back on jokes a little bit that's detrimental to the pacing, but which I think works a lot better in a novel, I think. What else? The start needed to be at the end of the last episode, but I talked about that already. I think, yeah, a lot of this Sodachi stuff's quite interesting, but again, still withholding judgment there. I don't know what we're going to talk with Shinobu about. Something. I do not know. It's very interesting that Yotsugi had the wherewithal to change her personality in a way that would reflect what Araragi's expectations were like based off one encounter. I think that was pretty cool. Still interested about that character there too, but anyway, we will see eventually. What you would think would happen from here is we would get Shinobu to be our partner, and then we would go to the bath, and then we would see what happens from there. So I don't know. Where's Senjugahara? He continues to ask. Forevermore. Forever and ever. Or post-credit? No post-credit, and we'll jump into a bit of analysis on episode 3 of Zoku Owarimonogatari. I thought I'd better do this, even though I don't think it's completely necessary to be writing summaries at this point, considering there's not much left to go. There's not much timeline shenanigans left to have a look at, but I'd like it to be complete, so we're just going to keep going with it anyway. It's pretty half-assed, and it's 2 episodes in one, but we'll read it out here. I guess I didn't give as much of a reaction to like a human Shinobu and what that would look like. That's very interesting. So much of her personality is tied to vampirism, is tied to those concepts. So seeing a truly human Shinobu, and the idea that a truly human Shinobu exists like as an invert of vampire Shinobu, as we see her right now, that's interesting, right? I wonder what the relationship with Araragi is like in this way. I wonder how that is manifested. She seems like an important character as we continue, and something that I probably didn't give enough, again, credence. However, and we'll continue from the start here, from episode 2. We go to the bathhouse, but scary rainy devil Kambaru is there. She begins to attack Araragi, and he is only saved by Black Hanakawa. He would have perished if not for this. And we learn 2 different things. Both Black Hanakawa and Rainy Devil are not reversed, i.e. their limbs and other limbs are on the correct sides. They're not mirror images of each other. Black Hanakawa is also implied to have been like hired by somebody to save Araragi. I'll need to reread the dialogue. I thought for a while that it was Shinobu, but that is not the case seemingly, but I'll have a read again. interesting. Interesting that there's a third party that understands a little bit about both worlds, right? That's how I would imply things happening there. Araragi then goes back home to find Yotsugi, and again, she's a specialist. She can identify some things about what's actually going on. But he runs into Oyakura Sodachi, who is living with Araragi and dotes over him, which is tragic. Yeah, basically this, like, there's this perfect life that Oyakura is having that is an inversion of herself, an inversion of her actual desire. Very, very interesting, and very, very tragic, as I continue to say. Araragi ends up going back to the shrine where Hachikuji has employed the help of Nadeko, parentheses Kuchinawa. So, let me put all my cards on the table here. Kuchinawa exists, right? But not in the same way that he exists within Nadeko's delusions, right? This is what I'm still not getting. So, Kuchinawa is an entity. He is a god. He existed years ago. Nadeko gets the idea of this via Orgi, and then starts to spin off some weird delusions in how she's justifying doing something bad, whilst maintaining a victim complex. Broadly. I think that's how it works. So, on that case, her inversion being a flippingness of this weird imagined Kuchinawa makes sense. In the same way that we were explaining how the reversing doesn't work for every single aspect, I think it's the same here. At a certain point, you have to pick one, right? And we've already got an inversion of Nadeko in real life, right? So Nadeko from before, if you inverted that and showed what was internal, external, she would be a mangaka. That was her whole story. However, we didn't pick that aspect here. We picked the more oddity adjacent aspect. And I think as we continue, we'll see maybe why this is the case. Either way, this part of the episode should have been part of the last episode where they explained the reversing's and the inversions. And yeah, on a certain level, they make sense. When you justify them the way that they justify them, yes, I buy every single one. The problem is, I think the concept of reversing or inverting is way too broad, to the point where if you're inverting the wrong thing, it can feel like a little bit of character assassination in a way that I don't really like. But they just need their justifications in place, otherwise your mind goes mental and you figure out a whole bunch of things that are probably incorrect based on their interpretation. It's a very broad concept, like literally inverting an entire character in that way, not inverting them at all, because it's just the same character the entire time. It's meant to be kind of trippy, so it's fine. Either way, after learning all of this information and applying it to all the other girls, Hachikuji then introduces the idea of an inverted Araragi, who we theorize is currently in the real world. So in the same way that Araragi went to this mirror world, we have the mirrored Araragi in our world. That's the way I visualize this anyway. I think a lot of the Yotsugi stuff is just jokes, but maybe he's like way more of a pervert. I mean, that would make sense. The other thing we imply, of course, is that a mirrored or inverted Araragi, Araragi's internal emotions shown externally, is already here in the story, and her name is Orgi, and she was already generated, and we already did a whole entire storyline / arc around her. So, did Orgi just pop out on the other side of the mirror? Is there two Orgis in our timeline now? That'd be kind of funny. Anyway, I digress. There's a small conversation as Oyakura is falling asleep. Again, Araragi goes to his room and there's a fucking bunk bed or something. I need to have another look there. Where, again, like Oyakura's on the top bunk now. Weird stuff. Either way, Araragi is awoken by Yotsugi, who is seemingly back to normal, but not really, just pretending. I guess I should also say with the Oyakura stuff, there's a part about mirrors not showing a full view into someone's personality, not a true reflection of themselves. As we have been saying, only about 80% of a reflection is a reflection, right? And like 20% of that light matter is lost into the mirror. So, I don't know, we'll probably talk about that in some greater detail at some point. Yotsugi then explains her circumstances and has about 14 billion jokes about Araragi being a pervert. Most of them are pretty funny though, so I'll give her a pass there. It's very interesting that this is the kind of flamboyant external Yotsugi, right? And she takes on this monotone joke tone very quickly as well. I think that's very interesting. I think that's very funny. We go to the cram school. We're taking Araragi to the cram school to go see Shinobu, except it's not the cram school. It's a massive fucking castle, and Shinobu is inside ruling said castle. I saw a similar castle during the opening, so now that makes a whole lot of sense. And I'm like, is that Shinobu? It turns out it was Shinobu. It's just a different Shinobu. However, she is not vampire anymore. She is human. And as I've said before, so much of her personality is tied to vampirism that it's kind of like, what's going on? Anyway, that's my interpretation up to this point. I guess my lesson today is to keep an open mind between episodes, I guess, and not think things are as final as they are. And then I don't know if they're doing this concept particularly well. I kind of liked it a bit better when it was a little bit, what's the word? Flippant, right? When it was a little bit more jokey, when it took on that Nisei Monogatari tone a lot more, I liked it. I don't think we need a deeper analysis of most of these characters. I think we've done plenty in the show up to this point. I guess I'm struggling to see the point of it all right now. What are we trying to accomplish with this, right? What is Araragi getting out of this? What are any of the other characters getting out of this? What am I learning about the world of Monogatari that I probably didn't already know? Not a ton. Not a ton. It feels a little bit, maybe excess in that point. Maybe a little bit. Just a little bit. But again, there's still half of an arc to go, so we can't be too critical just yet. And yeah, I'm going to bring up that episode now, and we're going to have another look, so please be excited. So we explain the concept of the inversion as opposed to a reversal through this stage show, which is great, right? We've talked about Monogatari as a stage metaphor before, and how, you know, we're an audience watching, people up on the stage, are they performing, what's happening as it pertains to that, who's behind the scenes pulling the strings, you know, among other things. I just think it's a well-designed sequence. The first portion before the opening exists to have a look at all of these different characters and explain how they've been inverted. The most obvious of which, and the one I picked up on immediately, as it has the most content around it, is Hanakawa, right? So Black Hanakawa, an oddity that manifested during Golden Week, a manifestation of Hanakawa's repressed emotions, right? Of her innermost desires that she represses on the idea of being a good girl, and whatever that means. And that, like, all these scary things we learn about Hanakawa, right? That, like, her preferences, or lack thereof, as it pertains to food, or anything, really. And yeah, potentially trying to create something beyond this persona that she's made for herself based on her upbringing, right? Like, that makes perfect sense that this is, again, Hanakawa's innermost desires represented externally. What I think the interesting part is apparently that Black Hanakawa still fucking hates Araragi in this world, right? Which, again, like, she hates Araragi because she likes Araragi, because she hates Araragi because she likes Araragi. Like, it's a weird one, right? So yeah, it's interesting to see, I think, in the future, whoever has hired her to do this. Cool, so as soon as we get this one out of the way, then we can start to talk about ones that are a little bit more weird. Having established that, we can apply logic to others. So Tiny Karen. Hello, Tiny Karen. So we justified this one through, okay, her mind state, her emotional maturity, is not matching up with her physical form, right? She had a growth spurt. Her body is bigger than what her intellect is up to this point. Again, being as not crude as possible, or trying to be. Maybe I've failed by even saying that, but you know what I mean, right? That, like, internally she's small girl, so she is perceived as small girl now. She has a complex about her height. She's actually, like, emotionally way younger, so she's perceived as way younger. I will say we're very horny. We're very, very horny this season, right? So Yotsugi was the other one, which I was, like, a little bit on. So I misinterpreted her character from the first stuff. I saw, like, when I first saw this weird new Yotsugi, I'm like, okay, she's like a weird, evil, like, mustache twirling freak, right? In reality, she's just mischievous, which has been the same thing the whole time, and that's what we mean, right? Like, she's been unable to show emotion this entire time based on, again, she's like a doll, right? Like, even though she's expressionless, she isn't emotionless, you know? And this is just her now able to express these emotions on her face in a way that she used to not be able to. Sure. I guess that comes from a misinterpretation of her character from our brief meeting during episode 1. Hachikuji, another really easy one. Her internally, she's like 21 years old, and now externally, she's 21 years old. Nothing else has changed. She is still the same character, still uses the same jokes, still exhibits all the positive traits that Hachikuji does. Now she's just older. Cool. Very easy one to understand. I guess the interpretation we could take from this is that Hachikuji is a lot more wise than we thought, right? If this is what she's like inside, if this is the true Hachikuji and we just haven't been seeing it because she's stuck in the form of an 11-year-old girl, I don't know. Maybe there's something to take there. I think that's what we're trying to get across with this look and the calligraphy and everything, right? She's a lot more poised than you think. As I've talked about, Hana Monogatari is like literally about this and how she still interprets or internalizes a lot of these aspects of the Rainy Devil, that being Kambaro. Yeah, this is the underside of Kambaro. She may still love me as a senior, right, as a senpai, but it would be unreasonable to presume that all of her hatred for me had just disappeared after one reconciliation with Senjogahara, right? Like, there's still probably that lingering feeling, hence why she ties her arm to the frickin' pole. She's scared that these emotions will come out and manifest in physical form and cause harm. However, that ties into a lot of the Guy and Toei stuff about being water or not being water, being poison or cure. Don't be an in-between, right? Which she's trying to be at the moment. Like, still harboring this hatred for Araragi, but also loving him, trying to sit in that happy medium, fence-sitting somewhat potentially. Then we get into the ones that are a bit harder to understand. So, Oyakura. What's going on with Oyakura, right? That never-before-seen carefree personality and her close relationship with the Araragi family were both things that she desired far more than I ever imagined. At least, according to whatever this world is. Whoever created this world, maybe this is inside your own head. I don't know. At least what I'd like to think. I want to believe that she wished for that sort of cheesy happiness, this kind of family situation, this loving stuff from the bottom of her heart. I think I read somewhere, like, somebody said, Oyakura Sodachi is like fucking Frank Grimes from The Simpsons. And I'm like, shit, you're kind of right. Like, just from this terrible circumstance and see something that the other party, that being either Homer Simpson or Araragi, takes for granted and going kind of insane as a result. I don't know, has anybody ever seen Frank Grimes' mum? I hope not. Anyway. By the way, weird Simpsons tangent aside, as these characters also look like Simpsons. I don't know. Like, either way, like, Sodachi, I kind of understand it now, I think. But also I think that's based on perspective. And whoever's inventing this world, this mirror world, whatever aberration it's based off of, must have some perception to base it off of as well. I don't think it's just like, this is what she thinks. It's a huge relief to think that she had been like this underneath all that, like, exterior this entire time. Time will only tell, I think. Yeah, I might be twisting the facts to fit my interpretation of Oyakura, but I find it impossible to talk about my childhood friend using logic alone. You need some kind of interpretation of your own. Okay, I like that, sure. And then we get on to the piece de resistance, the one that I think is the most tenuous, which is the Nadeko one. So, like, Kuchino is a figment, but he's also not. But he's also not. The Kuchino that we know from Otori is a figment, and I think she's kind of acting like that snake, so that makes sense. But also, as I've talked about before, this is only one interpretation of an inversion of Nadeko. Her entire character is about obscuring the internal, right? So I think we've already done that, you know? I don't know. I think it's a weird use for Sengoku here, and I'm going to stick by that. It's weird, right? It's almost like the external or the internal of Nadeko, when she snapped in that classroom and was now super aggressive and stuff, right? Remember that? Like, I don't think that this is still what Nadeko is thinking. I think this is based on, again, Araragi doesn't know the new Nadeko. I think part of this, whatever this simulation is, this fucking stimulus that we're living in, is based on Araragi's perception. I think somewhere along the line, and we're going to discover that as we continue. I think it kind of has to be even, because we've seen Nadeko in private now with Tsukihi, and she wasn't like this. right? And I don't think she's harboring any feelings of acting like Kuchinoa. So I don't know if I explained this particularly well, but I think that I've kind of hit the nail on the head here. Whatever this thing is, this mirror world, I believe it to be focused on Araragi and his perception of other characters. So, again, he is unaware of the new Nadeko by design. So if he's interpreting what he believes to be the internal of Nadeko, external, then it's going to be Kuchinoa, and it's not going to be this new personality, which has been purposefully obscured from Araragi. So this is what I'm kind of going with, and when I apply that to the other characters, again, Sodachi being the other example, this is what I would like to think Sodachi would be like internally. And it may be true, because, why not? But I also think it might not be, right? I think time will tell when we discover who is responsible for this entire thing. And again, I'm thinking, like, if it's based on fucking Araragi, it might as well be Augie, right? Maybe Augie's fucking around with the mirror again. You never know. You never know what she's up to. I'm still don't trust you after everything, kind of. Anyway, on with the video. So yeah, then we're like, oh, the world isn't strange at all. It's just been like, I don't know, they've been kind of like revealed their internal, external. Flipped inside out. They're not like reversed, they're not untrue, they're the same people. So then we get the Hachikuji part of the conversation, which was teased earlier. Whether we're in a mirror world, another world, or a different dimension, aren't you still acquainted with everyone here? Thus, a reversed Araragi would need to exist, right? If this was the case. Yeah, everyone here knows who you are, so it stands to reason that there's a reversed Araragi on the loose somewhere. And, as I said immediately, he's on the other side. They've swapped places, I think. So the other thing is that his reflection kind of glared at him, right? This Araragi that's unable to perceive the true nature of everybody that he meets. Again, doesn't this absolutely stink of Augie, right? This self-critical Araragi that continues to look at his own ignorance and frowns, right? Again, I'm imagining we will learn more as we continue. And yeah, taking the cases of the Rainy Devil and Hanakawa into account, the Araragi Koyomi of this world might well be Augie. Yeah, my arch enemy, Oshino Augie, which is a weird term considering the ending we just had, but sure. Araragi says he's gonna go home and hit the hay. They said, hey, if you find a way to leave a letter. But then, fucking Nadeko says something weird. Though I do suppose I'd like to keep tabs on the cat, and then disappears. So, I don't know what's going on with the cat, I don't know who's directing the cat, I don't know what Hanakawa's doing, but sure. Araragi goes back home, checks the mirror, and sees nothing. So that's not going to work, the same thing that we've tried. Araragi tries to go to bed, but then sees there's like another bed on top of his bed, which is Sodachi's bed. So they've been bunking for years, which is weird. Let me ask Sodachi about mirrors. I don't know, there was some weird stuff about her being, like, embarrassed or something about Araragi. I don't know. This new Sodachi's fucking freaking me out. I don't know if I like it. They explained the thing I said before about the mirrors and the light not reflecting the full picture, which, again, it's a metaphor that has been set up that needs something for it to be applied to. So I'm keeping it in the old noggin, but I don't have much to say about it right here, right now. Yeah, although we can recognize ourselves by looking in a mirror, we only vaguely see ourselves, right? Our features blurred, accuracy is lost. I don't entirely look like I look in the mirror, is what they're saying. Araragi then wakes up and sees the Yotsugi's kneeling by the bed. It's seemingly our Yotsugi, which is weird. And yeah, I'm gonna take you to this world's kiss shot, Ace Roller Orion Heart Under Blade, which is a very vampiric name for a very human. I don't know, more power line stuff, more like inverted white, black, as we continue, like mirrored, binary. Again, all of our themes from earlier in the story. Let me be clear, temper your expectations. I only have a basic understanding of what's going on. We're going to take you to Shinobu. She'll explain things a little bit better. Also, what we do in this part of the story, which I think is very, very clever, is we reflect very famous conversations from earlier in the story. So, I know we talked with Hachikuji here once, but we've probably talked with Yotsugi as well, and I'll point them out as I see them. I don't believe we've ever seen anything here, but I could be wrong. I'm not going to explain every single joke, but she makes a lot of jokes where she implies that Araragi likes to diddle kids, which isn't that far from the truth, but I digress. I thought they were pretty funny in the moment, but I don't think they deserve a ton of analysis. I just think she's very one note. So it's a very good note to hit, but But yeah, potentially some variety there could help. So, Yotsugi saw him this morning, and something was off about Araragi. So the Araragi of this world would respond differently to this Yotsugi. So yeah, all those jokes about panties and boob touching aside, once you left, like when Araragi left to go to wherever he was going to after he saw Yotsugi, which I'm now forgetting. Did he go straight to the shrine? He kind of just left the house and then decided to go to the shrine. Okay, gotcha. She performed some self-diagnosis. She looked in the mirror and she's like, why did he do that? What's wrong with me? Confusing turned on and put off is pretty good. That's a good joke. Thumbs up for that one. So after you observed me, I couldn't see anything wrong, but however I was not operating to full capacity, I concluded that I was unworthy of serving as Oni-chan's, or Oneir-chan's, I should say, familiar, as her Shikigami. Thus, if I'm not operating correctly, I reconfigured my personality. That is to say, I reset my character and brushed up on my skills, thus that's why I'm the way I am right now. I reset my ability to express emotion. I wasn't sure how it would go, but judging by your response, it appears that I was largely successful at replicating whatever Yotsugi you know. Yeah, like, Yotsugi is seemingly, like, she thinks she's been streamlined now, and she's thanking him for not taking off her panties. Of course, this visual here is reflective of the Orgi Nadeko stuff, as well as I think there's a conversation here with Orgi and Araragi towards the end of Owari somewhere? Her content in Owari Season 1, I think. But changing her character to this level, it's already stepping outside of her bounds as an oddity, thus the darkness may be involved. So there's a limit of what she can do. If she keeps on pushing in this direction, she's going to break something, probably, right? And I won't let myself get annihilated until you take me to the ocean like you promised. Which is so fucking cheesy, but yeah, good joke again. Good comedy in this point in the story. Then we have this video game part. I'm not sure it works aesthetically at all. I think they're trying to do too much. It becomes unreadable in the subs as well at points. I don't know. It's fine. At least they went for something, I guess. I guess when he's saying, like, I went to the shrine, and then it shows the shrine, and it shows, like, little, like, pixelated Hachikuji. That's pretty good. And then, of course, up the top, we've got, like, crab, snail, monkey, bee, phoenix, cat, owl? What is that? Snake, something, carrot. All your favorites, they're here. And obviously it's probably referential to something else, right? Looking at all these, yeah, this is pretty well done visually, sure. All these different locations, all these different levels. So again, the shrine through to the school, that's now Etsu. That's the original location of the shrine at the fucking park, Namashiro Park. Then, of course, the Araragi household there. He went back home. Now we're inside the home. We've got north, west, east, south, as well as, like, the things we're collecting, like pieces of cake, which is interesting, donuts, staplers. Sure, man. Apparently, Sodachi was begging him to buy a certain book in Zoku Owarimonogatari with O Yotsugi and Koyomi, sure, at this point in time, with this many yen. Simply talk to her, compliment her, touch her body, kiss her, change locations, invite her to a hotel, run away. What is this, like, weird dating sim? And then this feels like fucking Ninja Gaiden or something. Yeah, so Sodachi wanted a book, is all that we're getting from that, and normally expected Araragi to dote over her. As we talk about Sodachi, we get this visual, which is the fucking public housing that she lived in, as well as this, like, park that's made up of, like, weird wedges and math shit, which we get a better shot of here, which is where we had those revelations around what her actual situation was. So now that Yotsugi's got a bit of a grip, she's like, I'm excited to see your reaction to what Shinobu's like. I think that'll be funny. So this heart under blade is different to the one you expected, because she's human, as we learn in the end. There's also these shots here, which are reflecting Tsuki Monogatari, and the conversations that we had with Kagenui and Yotsugi, as they pertain to Shinobu as well. Interesting. Okay. Just like great visual stuff this episode, as I keep banging on about. Of course, Yotsugi wants to know more about the other world, immediately asks about Oneir-chan and how she thinks about Yotsugi, which is a weird response from Araragi as well. So then we get a full actual summary to Yotsugi, and then she makes a bunch of jokes about panties again, as we see them fly through the wind. Very cool. Can we be crass and say, like, street light metaphor? Like traffic light stuff? Funny. So everyone's behaving as they normally should according to this world's Yotsugi, except for one person, who's Hanakawa, who's acting fucking weird, who would normally hate Araragi, wouldn't offer a paw to help him, but has in this situation, obviously being influenced by some external force. I can't think of a single person who would ask her to help me. I don't know anyone who would willingly help you out. Hardy ha. Who hired Black Hanakawa? We don't know. All we do know is that Yotsugi is planning or plotting to betray him at the last second, just to see what kind of face he will make. Apparently we made a like actual appointment with Shinobu as well, so he's expected. I misread this in the moment. I thought it was the opposite. Apparently they have a good relationship in this world as opposed to their one where they kind of butt heads in the other world. So, I don't know, something to that. We think that Yotsugi's taking us to the cram school, which should likely be intact on this side of the mirror. So potentially she continue to live with Oshino inside the school, as opposed to whatever else happened. I suspect that as a result, she didn't have a high opinion of me, Araragi Koyomi. But yeah, that's not entirely the case at all, because, like, it's not the cram school. She seemingly likes Araragi at least a little bit, which is weird. Like, listen, why is there a castle here? Because now that she's not a vampire, she doesn't have, like, magic or matter creation powers. Unless she's, like, a witch. Which I don't know about that. Like, I don't know why there's a castle here is my point. We go right inside the castle. I remember seeing these halls somewhere as well. Or at least I feel like I have. It's all very vampiric and European in design, I think. So Araragi was convinced that Shinobu wouldn't exist in this world, since vampires don't have reflections. This is half true as she is a human. Like, if you take the vampiric nature through the mirror out of Shinobu, she ends up only human left, right? At one point, I think we imply that she was human. Through Kizumonogatari. I think this is our way of writing off a lot of stuff as well. Like Yotsugi calls him Oni Oni-chan, right? But she doesn't understand why. She doesn't have the context for that to happen based on what happened previous in the story. I think that's how we're justifying a lot of stuff. Like, why does this castle exist, even though I'm a vampire? I think that's probably the same answer, right? Which is like, I don't know. We don't know why. It just is. That's just the fact of the universe. Araragi incorrectly interprets, like, we can't call her Oshino Shinobu as, hey, she might be full-powered Shinobu inside of there. In fact, it's the opposite. She's zero-powered Shinobu. We go inside the opulent room. I love the colors in here. The white and gold really fits. I like how it reflects onto the clothes as well, so the lighting of the room is powerful enough to change the tone of the clothing and the skin. One look at her silhouette and I understood everything. Welcome to my humble abode, Araragi-sama. I suppose introductions are in order. The name bestowed upon me is Kishshot, the lady who gave that antiquated greeting. She was quite the beauty, but she wasn't a vampire. She was a human! Oh no! And then into the ED. So what do I make of that? Yeah, again, I think it's similar to what Yotsugi was talking about before, that, like, the world is being influenced by our world, and they don't really understand why. Why am I in a castle? Why does this happen? Why am I like this? Why am I like that? But why am I also just a human? I don't think we have any answers for it. I think the conversation with her is interesting insofar as, like what has changed to make you this way? What has changed? What is the inside of you external that is human? I think that's interesting, right? What personality traits have the vampirism created? The other thing is, hey, this doesn't solve our problem with regards to getting into the bath. Because if she's a human, she'll just get ripped apart by the rainy devil, right? So we probably still need Yotsugi's help, or some other aberration, maybe Black Hanakawa again. We're going to have to see who's hired Black Hanakawa. I do not know. Is it somebody from a different world? Like, different world Araragi hired Hanakawa or something? I do not know. Maybe Araragi in this world has planned this and he's behind everything? Maybe? I do not know. I really do not know. But I guess that's what finishing the rest of this will do next week. I don't know. Well, probably not next week, but you know what I mean. So yeah, that was episodes 2 and 3. I'm still on board. I just wish we would pick a lane a little bit. I think we're trying to be funny and serious, not hitting that balance as correct as we have in the past, I think. But I mean, that's fine. Like, it's fine. It's pretty good. I think when it is funny, it's quite funny. I'm still waiting for another shooter drop for this to become a little bit more interesting again. I think a little bit of the writing could use a little bit of work. I don't like the split between the episodes, as I've talked about. Other than that, like, it's pretty good. It's not as good as the previous stuff is my point of view right now, I guess. Yeah. Coming off of Owari Season 2, I'm not sure you could get much higher than that. but we certainly haven't, I don't think. But again, there's still more to go. I'm sure we're going to hit some amount of poignancy at some point based on past Monogatari experience. A lot of it comes together by the last episode of an arc in a big way. So I'm waiting for that, I guess. But for now, I'm just tentatively just okay about it. I think it's funny. I think it looks really good. Not wowed about the story yet. And yeah, we'll do some more next week. I'm unsure as to how much, but we will see when we get there. I'm just going to do my chill stuff now, so if you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like the video and you want to see more, consider subscribing to the channel. Comment below anything you thought about the episode, anything I could do to improve my presentation. Comment below. I'm doing follow for follow on Twitter, so follow me on Twitter if you'd like me to follow you back. And the Discord, join Discord. Love Discord. Discord. And yeah, I'll catch you next week for some more Monogatari goodness. Probably Zoku Owari 4, maybe 5, and then leave 6 by itself. Something like that. So yeah, thanks for watching this week. Hope to see some opinions in Discord in the comments, and I'll catch you next week for some more. Bye-bye.